Before we start, and I mean this, today's episode is different. There's an 84-year-old woman out there right now who has a pacemaker in her chest and needs medication every single day to stay alive. And she's been missing for over 2 weeks now. I'm sure you guys have heard of this circulating in the news. If you're listening to this and you know anything, I don't care if it's a rumor, a weird feeling, a car you saw, there's an FBI tip line, and we're going to give that to you at the end of the episode. Okay. January 31st, 2026, Catalina Foothills, Pima County, Arizona. It's a nice neighborhood. The kind of place you move to when you're 84 and you want peace and you want to relax. Streets, desert sunsets, one of those little Nest cameras by the door because your kids bought it for you and said, "Mom, this will keep you safe."
Except it didn't.
It didn't, because someone, and this is what I need you guys to sit with, someone walked into that house, unplugged it, not hacked it, not jammed the signal, unplugged it. Like they knew where it was, like they'd been there before.
And when authorities got inside, baby girl, they didn't find Nancy Guthrie. They found a trail of blood.
They found a trail of blood from an 84-year-old woman.
So fuck it. I'm the Godfather.
And I'm Soph, and we're talking about the abduction of Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother, a grandmother, and a woman who should be drinking tea and watching Jeopardy. But she was ripped out of her house by someone with a Walmart backpack and a plan.
And if her name sounds familiar, it should. Her daughter is Savannah Guthrie, co-anchor of the Today Show.
Which means either her fame is the reason that this happened, or it's the only reason anyone gives a shit. And I don't know which one is worse.
Either way, kiddo, the clock is ticking and it has been 15 days.
So let's get into it, because the FBI has a blurry photo of a masked guy and 0 arrests. And frankly, I've had enough of this.
Try to burn what I constructed, not new to the game, unscathed by the flames. Vision like the phoenix, I mean it, so fuck it, I mean it, oh, I mean it, I mean it, oh, fuck it. From my lips, so fuck it, fuck it, fuck it, fuck it, fuck it, bitch, so fuck it, fuck it, fuck it, fuck it, fuck it, bitch, so fuck it, fuck it, fuck it, fuck it, fuck it, bitch, so fuck it. Podcast, bitches, Batman 503 and I'm out, take it away, so.
Sunday, January 31st, just about 30 minutes before sunset, Nancy Guthrie travels by Uber to the home of her oldest daughter, Annie. After dinner and games, son-in-law Tommaso Cioni brings her home. The time is 9:48. 2 minutes pass, and the 84-year-old's garage door closes. After midnight, Monday, February 1st, a masked, armed man approaches Nancy's door. Head down, he focuses in on the home's doorbell camera, then turns back to grab foliage in a clumsy attempt to cover the device.
There's no question that this was planned.
By 1:47 a.m., that Nest cam is disconnected. At 2:12 a.m., another house camera detects movement. 16 minutes later, 2:28, Nancy's pacemaker disconnects from the app on her phone. Later that morning, a friend who regularly hosts Nancy to watch a streamed church service alerts the family that she's absent. 11:56, family goes to Nancy's home to investigate. 7 minutes later, 911 is called. 12:15, sheriff's deputies arrive at Nancy's house and the search begins.
Breaking overnight, Nancy Guthrie, Savannah's 84-year-old mother, now at the center of a missing persons case.
Monday, February 2nd, the nation wakes to learn of Guthrie's family's nightmare. The Today Show begins without Savannah and with grave news.
And our thoughts and our prayers are with our dear friend and colleague and her family this morning.
We saw some things at the home that were concerning to us.
9 a.m., the Pima County Sheriff's press conference is carried live from coast to coast.
This is a 84-year-old lady who suffers from some physical ailments, is in need of medication that if she doesn't have in 24 hours, it could be fatal.
A local TV station receives a ransom note. with specific details about what Nancy was wearing and with 2 distinct deadlines.
We're gathering some DNA samples to get those to our crime lab. But yes, it's evident to us that she was moved from that house against her will.
By the next day, Tuesday, February 3rd, the sheriff updates News Nation about that DNA.
They have confirmed that the DNA that we found belonged to Nancy, Savannah's mom.
It's announced that Savannah will be pulling out of Olympics coverage, and she asked the nation, just pray on Instagram. While sheriff's helicopters circle, News Nation brings viewers a sobering scene. We were able to get up close to the house right near the front door, and there is blood. There is a blood trail near the front door of Nancy Guthrie's house. Wednesday, February 4th, days after the crime scene is released, law enforcement converges with dogs, a perimeter, and investigators all over the property.
Are they getting things in the garage, or are they just using it to go in and out?
And love for her daughters and family.
Nancy's neighbors gather in prayer.
Hang in there, Nancy. You got this.
President Trump posts pledging immediate federal support.
On behalf of our family.
And for the first time, we hear from the anguished family, directly addressing the kidnapper.
She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
Thursday, February 5th sees a meager reward for information bump up to $50,000. Deputies canvass behind Annie Guthrie's home. A 5 p.m. ransom deadline comes and goes, and Nancy's only son posts a message.
Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you.
The FBI deploys digital billboards on Friday, February 6th. Nancy's car is towed. We learn another ransom note goes to a local TV station.
Is it, written by the same person? It's very difficult to tell.
And reporters aboard Air Force One get a briefing.
We have some clues, I think, that are very strong, and I think we could have some answers coming up fairly soon.
Saturday, February 7th, brings a flurry of activity both at Nancy and Annie Guthrie's home.
So I'm outside Annie Guthrie's house. Saw camera flashes from inside the house coming from the windows. So
Nancy's children release another emotional video.
We received your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us.
The septic tank behind Nancy's home is searched on Sunday the 8th.
We're now in day 9. FBI Director Kash Patel will be in Tucson today.
The work week begins with the FBI director on site, but behind the scenes. And as a ransom note's second deadline passes, the woman who typically spends her days cheerfully on camera turns to another appeal.
If you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
Tuesday, February 10th, a bombshell. The FBI's work nets the video seen around the world.
What we see is planned, but not professional.
Developments unfold rapidly, sending law enforcement south to Rio Rico, Arizona. I'm outside the house that is now being searched. This is her house, and the subject is her son-in-law.
Yeah,
is that right?
Son, yeah.
Deputies detain a man for questioning, and then his release.
What the am I doing here? I didn't do anything, to be honest. I'm innocent.
Wednesday, February 11th, the FBI searches along roadways in the Catalina foothills, and a black glove is reported to be found.
Get it forensically tested, come up with a DNA profile.
The 12th, shortly after a forensic height chart is brought in, we get this description of the man at the door. 5'9" to 5'10", average build. His backpack, a Walmart brand, 25-liter Ozark trail hiker.
They are saying as well that they now have 13,000 tips from the public.
Friday the 13th brings rain and gloomy skies for the first time since the kidnapping, and a growing display from a heartbroken community.
People care.
A report of new evidence.
You have unknown DNA that you have found, DNA that does not match anybody in the Guthrie family, does not match anybody working for Nancy Guthrie inside her home.
So someone's leaving.
Nightfall nets the most activity to date. A mobile command center, the bomb squad, and a SWAT team. Multiple people detained, and a nation increasingly desperate to bring Nancy home.
Can't imagine that if they get somebody that lives right next to me on my street, that, you know, that even makes sense.
Right. So I know that was a long video, but it kind of just gives you the overview of what's been going on since she went missing. So let's set the scene. Nancy Guthrie, she's 84 years old and she lives in Arizona, which people who don't know Arizona, the area that she lived in is very, very nice. It's north of Tucson. And it's not a gated compound, however, but it's not exactly a rough neighborhood either. It's the kind of place where people leave their garage doors open, you know, their door unlocked because they feel safe.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of place I call a rich white neighborhood. It's, you know, where my condo is, where my townhouse is. I could literally just roll up to 7-Eleven in my car, leave the keys running, leave the car running, and walk in, talk to the guy for 20 minutes, come back out, my car's still there. You know, it's a nice area. That's the first thing people need to understand. This isn't some high crime zone where you expect something like this. This is a retirement community adjacent area. Like, it's retirees, snowbirds, people who move there to not deal with this kind of shit.
Right. So January 1st, what do we know? Well, we know documented law enforcement confirmed that Nancy Guthrie was indeed at home. And at some point during that day, she wasn't anymore.
Here's the thing, and I want to be precise. The evidence that authorities have described paints a picture of a forcible removal. This is not a woman who wandered off. This was not a confused elderly person who went for a walk. The evidence tells a very different story.
The evidence tells a violent story. Now, authorities report a trail of blood inside and outside the home, a trail that leads all the way out to the road from her door. So it's not a spot, it's not a drop of blood, it's an actual trail. And this means, and I'm just going to say it,
she was hurt.
She was hurt. An 84-year-old woman with a pacemaker hurt in her own home, and then she was taken from it.
Yeah. And the Nest camera, the one piece of technology that could have shown us everything, was disconnected.
Let me dwell on this for a second because this is the detail that keeps me up at night. The Nest camera was disconnected. Now, Godfather, you've worked in tech. You've got degrees from MIT. Talk to me. How hard is it to disconnect a Nest camera?
Unfortunately, kiddo, it's not all that hard. That's the problem. These consumer cameras, like, you know, Nest and Spot, some of the ones, I'm not just talking about Nest, like Ring, Arlo, all of them. They're all marketed as security cameras. The problem is they're not. They're notification systems. They tell you when someone's at the door, and your Alexa will show them with a picture, and they don't stop anyone from coming in. It's not security camera. It's just a same thing as when you peek through the door. You know, they don't stop anyone from coming through it. Basically, the Nest camera is either plugged into a wall as outlet, or it's hardwired with Ethernet. Either way, if you know where it is, you just walk up to it, unplug it, and cut the wire, and it's done. That's it. The cloud stops recording. The alert to your phone stops. Everything stops. It takes about 3 seconds.
3 seconds to go dark.
3 seconds. And here's what that tells us. And I want to label this clearly as theory, not fact. I don't know anything more than the cops know, but the implication is significant. Whoever disconnected that camera likely knew where it was. And for that, they didn't stumble around looking for it. They went right to the camera. That means they've probably been there before. Or they've seen the feed, so they know where to go to look for it.
Which means either they'd been to the house before, or they cased it, or someone told them.
Or they hacked it. Yeah. Any of those options are pretty scary. Think about it.
All of those options are chilling, Godfather. Every single one of them.
Now, the FBI, they got involved. They released surveillance footage of a suspect. And here's what we have. A male, approximately 5'9", 5'10", wearing a mask, carrying, and so if I know you have thoughts on this.
I have thought.
Carrying an Ozark Trail hiker pack.
An Ozark Trail hiker pack. For anyone who doesn't know, and God, I wish I didn't, Ozark Trail is a Walmart brand. And this is a backpack you would buy for, let's say, $27 while you're also buying Hot Pockets and tube socks.
It's not exactly criminal mastermind equipment, right?
No, it's not. And you're planning what appears to be a premeditated kidnapping. You disconnected the camera. You mask up, you have a plan, and your go bag is from a sporting good aisle in Walmart. Next to the fishing lures.
Well, maybe there's a rollback. Or The thing is, when you buy something that isn't specialized, like it's harder to track it down. There's a lot of people who shop at Walmart, but if you would have gone to, say, REI or something like that, there's only a few of those stores around. They might have been able to identify the guy more easily.
Jesus Christ, a rollback. Attention Walmart shoppers, aisle 7 kidnapping starter kits. Now only $19.99.
But in all seriousness, and I've seen this in other cases, the budget gear actually tells you something. That this wasn't a professional operation. This wasn't organized crime. This wasn't a cartel snatch. Professionals don't carry identifiable branded equipment.
So what are we looking at?
My theory, and I'm labeling it as such, just a theory, is that this is someone who planned this, but planned it alone or with minimal help. Someone with enough knowledge of the victim and the home to know about the camera, but not enough operational sophistication to avoid leaving evidence or to use untraceable gear.
Which honestly makes it even more scary, not less, because a professional, you almost understand the logic here. It's horrible, but it's mechanical, right? This just feels personal.
Yeah, it does.
Now, let's talk about who Nancy Guthrie is beyond this nightmare. And I want to be clear, she is not just Savannah Guthrie's mom. That's the headline, and I get why. Savannah is a household name. She's on the Today Show every morning as a co-host, but Nancy Guthrie is a person. She's 84 years old. She's somebody's mother. She's somebody's grandmother. She lived her life, and she deserves to have that life back, not to be kept.
Absolutely. And this is, look, Savannah Guthrie connection is relevant, and we'll get into that. Why is relevant later. But right now, I want people to hear me. This is an elderly woman who was taken from her home violently, period. That's the crime. That's the part that matters. I mean, this could have been my mom. That's
and also, yeah, and I also want to do a quick disambiguation because this confused some people early on. There is another Nancy Guthrie, totally different person who is a Christian author and a Bible teacher based in Nashville, Tennessee. She writes books, hosts a podcast called Help Me Teach the Bible. And she co-founded respite retreats for grieving parents with her husband, David. Completely different Nancy Guthrie, not connected in this case at all in any way.
Right. In the beginning, I thought they were the same person. But early on, some people were conflating the two online, which is,
a mess, a total mess. And if you're that Nancy Guthrie in Nashville, I'm sorry, people are blowing up your phone. And also, you seem like a lovely person, and this episode is not about you. Sorry.
This is about Nancy Guthrie, who is 84 years old and has been missing from Pima County, Arizona, for more than 2 weeks now, and who needs her medication today, right now, if we can get it.
But she has her medication. The person who kidnapped her or abducted her, took her, whatever you want to call it, she obviously has her medication. So they left her medication there. But this is what tells me that it's got to be somebody that knows these people, this family, or it was planned or pre-planned with the family. I don't know. This is just what I think. But yeah. I also have a video I want to show here in just a few seconds, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, let's talk about that. Because this is, I need a drink already, and we're just, what?
Nancy Guthrie has a pacemaker. She requires daily medication. The specifics haven't been publicly disclosed, but her family has been explicit that her health is very fragile. That was the word they used, fragile.
Fragile, an 84-year-old with a pacemaker who needs daily meds, and she's been missing for 15 days now. I want that number to sit in your chest like a rock, because that's 15 days. That's 15 days where her pacemaker could malfunction without monitoring. And it died, by the way. The Guthrie family, Savannah, I think, actually got an alarm on her phone that her pacemaker died. So it's now not connected, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. And if her pacemaker was connected to Savannah, the children's phone, how could they not locate where she's at? That's just weird to me. But anyway, 15 days where every single hour reduces the chances that, I'm not even going to finish that sentence because I refuse to give up on her, and so does her family. Savannah Guthrie and her family have made an emotional public plea, and I'm going to share that video that I was just talking about. And look, I make fun of the media all the time, and I think morning shows are largely cotton candy for the brain, right? But watching Savannah Guthrie, who sits in front of cameras every day for, a living, and she tries to hold it together while she begs the public to find her mother. I know you're going to say that that's not performance, but it kind of looked like it was a little bit of a performance.
I don't think that was performance.
I'm going to share that video right now, as a matter of fact.
You guys were right. You commented in my comment section about how the Guthrie family quoted The Silence of the Lambs. And then I went back and I'm like, let me rewatch it. And I rewatch it, and you were not lying. They quoted the Silence of the Lambs movie, and I'm going to show you 2 video clips back to back, the Guthrie family and then the Silence of the Lambs. And it's like, I got a tinfoil hat on. You know what I mean? Like, stay with me because we're ripping and running. Let me show you the video clips, and then let's get into the way and the words that they're using when it comes to the second ransom letter they got, and then their video response back to this person or persons who have kidnapped their mother, because all of it, girl, all of it is odd.
Friend, she is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
Martin, as we've said, is the only daughter of U.S. Senator Ruth Martin, the Republican junior senator from Tennessee. And while her kidnapping is not at this point considered to be politically motivated, nevertheless, it has stirred the government to its highest levels. Reach for comment on the ski slopes of Stowe, Vermont. The president himself said to be, and I quote, intensely concerned. Just moments ago, Senator Martin takes this dramatic personal plea.
I'm speaking now to the person who's holding my daughter. Catherine is very gentle and kind. Talk to her and you'll see.
It's super strange. This thing is odd. It's like, okay, is it total coincidence? Maybe.
If you want to watch the rest of that video, I will leave a link to it in the description below. Now, let me process this for a second because my brain just keeps going back to that damn backpack.
Yeah, you're stuck in that backpack.
I am. I'm stuck on the damn backpack, Godfather. Because, okay, think about it. You're committing a federal crime. You're kidnapping a human being, and the bag you chose is like the same as a 14-year-old would choose his backpack, to go on like a Boy Scout camp.
Yeah, but it does hold like 35 liters. I mean, if he's 14-year-old, hell, I've been 12 years old for 30 years, so, whatever.
Oh, good. 35 liters. Well, plenty of room for your criminal supplies and your trail mix.
Yeah, absolutely. In regrets. Who knows? Regrets, whatever, however you did it.
And you're, oh, fuck you. I shouldn't be laughing.
Well, no, you should, because here's the thing, and I mean this, if we don't laugh, we scream, and that's how this works. That's how it's always worked. You look at the darkness, and you either make a joke or you lose your mind.
That's literally the tagline of this podcast.
I know, baby.
You did not write it.
Well, I inspired it.
Okay, sure. But seriously, the backpack detail, what does that tell us, guys? Because you were earlier saying that this doesn't look like a professional job.
It doesn't. I mean, and I want to be careful here because I'm theorizing, but again, in my experience, and I've worked with contractors of different kinds, Eric Princess people, I've been around people who plan operations for a living, extraction jobs, professionals who don't leave identifiable gear and they don't carry branded equipment. They don't show up on camera at all, ideally.
And this guy is on camera.
He's on camera, masked, yes, but on camera. And the FBI was able to release the footage with enough detail to identify the brand of backpack. It tells me that's not someone who planned a kidnapping, but has never actually done this before.
So we're potentially looking at a first timer.
I'd say that's a pretty reasonable theory. Yeah, a rookie. Well, which again doesn't make him less dangerous. It might make him more dangerous because he might get spooked and do something stupid.
Because he's unpredictable.
Right. Because it's unpredictable. A professional has a protocol. They have an end game. They know what they want, how to get it. An amateur
might hurt someone because they didn't plan for what happens next.
Yeah, exactly. You might panic, right? Because the next 15 days, the next 15 hours matter. And we're going to That's why we're doing this episode.
Thank you. So, Nest, Ring, Arlo, Simply Safe, whatever the fuck you want to call it. These companies, they spend billions of dollars on advertising, telling you that their cute little camera is going to keep grandma safe. See who's at the door. Get alerts on your phone. Peace of mind for your whole family. You've seen the commercials, you know. They always have the same scary guy in a hoodie who gets scared by a little ding dong. Shit.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Okay, well, here's what those commercials don't show or tell you. The part where the scary guy in the hoodie reaches up and unplugs the motherfucking camera, because that's how easy it is. These aren't security systems. They're security theater. Okay? They're a prop. And they make you feel safe without actually making you safe.
It's true. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong.
And there's an 84-year-old woman that had one of these cameras and hopefully has one of these cameras. And her family probably paid $200 for the camera, plus however much it is a month to keep the damn thing running. And what did it get her? It did actually nothing but captured a little video of her kidnapper's backpack and a little bit of his face, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, and this is what I've been saying for years, and people, the tech industry, people I went to school with, they know this. Consumer Internet of Things, IoT, security is largely an illusion. It's, again, like we were talking about the other day, about illusion of privacy. It's $1 billion industry built on the premise that a $150 camera is going to protect you from danger. And here's the thing. They are using the camera as a deterrent, the perception that somebody's watching or recording, because what do these cameras and locks do? For the most part, they keep honest people honest. But a guy who's got a plan, the guy who's motivated, the guy's going to go in, he's going to do whatever it takes, and this stuff isn't going to stop him, right? It's not going to make you any safer. For example, when they talk about this 256-bit encryption and how it'll take hundreds of years for a supercomputer to break it, if I needed your password, I'm going to give Frankie a $5 wrench, and he's going to beat the shit out of you with it until you give him the password. So it's not really that secure, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying I don't have cameras. I have cameras, and I like them. But maybe also have, I don't know, a dog, a neighbor who checks in, an actual alarm system connected that is hardwired to a monitoring station, something that can't be defeated by just unplugging it,
Yeah, I mean, get a fucking ferret even. I don't care. It's something, yeah.
Get you some ferrets.
Yeah, I mean, the toaster's a nice touch, but, it doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
Yeah, because you can unplug it just like you can your damn toaster. So let's keep going, because the investigation, it's the whole thing.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I mean, all right, well, we'll walk you through what happened since January 31st, but real quick, I want to tell you, there are these security devices they make at places called Armorlight and Smith & Wesson. Tell our viewers to look into those for sure, see what they find. They might see that they'll be safer. Remington makes a nice one. They sell them at Walmart, in fact, 12 gauge. But anyways, let's walk through this. And I want to structure this carefully because there's a lot of noise, a lot of speculation online, a lot of podcasters trying to make money from this, and a lot of unverified claims of this, that, or the other thing. And we want to separate the signal from the noise, right?
Signal from noise? Look at you being all MIT about it.
Well, I do have the green baby girl.
2 of them, which you never let us forget.
I mean, it's like Harvard people. Do they ever let you forget? Or, Arts Linux people. 3, actually, by the way, just so we're clear.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay, please, Professor, walk us through it.
All right. So the FBI is involved, right? That's significant for a few reasons. Under federal law, kidnapping becomes a federal crime when it crosses state lines or when there's a reason to believe the victim may have been transported across state lines. The FBI getting involved this early and this visibly tells us they have a reason to believe this is a bigger than the local case.
Or, and this is just me being cynical, it tells us that when the victim's daughter is one of the most famous journalists in America, the feds show up real quick.
That's not unfair observation. And we're going to talk about that. The Savannah effect, I'm calling it in segment 3. But right now, let's stick with the investigative facts.
Fair.
Right. So the FBI released surveillance footage showing the suspect, male, approximately 5'9", 5'10", wearing a mask, carrying the now famous Ozark Trail hiker pack.
The Walmart special.
Right.
Next to the helmet.
The footage is, from what's been described, not crystal clear. He's masked, right? The physical description is limited, but the FBI considered it significant enough to release publicly, which means they're hoping someone recognizes the build, the gait, the way he carries himself,
And can we be real about how thin that is? Male, 5'9" to 5'10", wearing a mask. I mean, do you know how many men live in Arizona who are 5'10", 5'9", 5'10"? And that's like saying the suspect has a face.
It's thin. And for the record, I'm 5'9", but I was nowhere near Arizona in the last 2 weeks. But I'm not going to pretend it isn't thin. But the gait analysis, body type, specific backpack, sometimes it is enough. With artificial intelligence and facial recognition software, they can do a lot these days. Sometimes someone sees that footage and says, wait, I know that walk. That's my neighbor. It happens.
It happens, and I hope to God it happens in this case.
Well, now, February 13th, 13 days after the abduction, a SWAT operation is conducted near Nancy Guthrie's home, full tactical team, the kind of thing that tells you they had specific intelligence pointing to that location.
Wait. I want to believe that they, might find her, right?
I mean, you don't deploy SWAT on a hunch. There was supposedly actionable intelligence. Something led them there.
And?
Well, 3 people were detained.
3 people.
Yeah, 3. And then
fucking nothing. 0 arrests. They detained 3 human beings, 3 people suspicious enough to warrant a SWAT team kicking in the door, and then they just let them go.
Well, now, to be fair,
here we go. To be fair,
kiddo, detained does not mean guilty, right? Detained means they had enough to hold them temporarily, not enough to arrest. There's a legal distinction that matters there. You can't detain you can detain someone for questioning. If the evidence doesn't support the arrest, you have to release them. That's how it's supposed to work, and that's a good thing.
I know that's how it's supposed to work, and I'm not saying they should have arrested innocent people. What I am saying is, what the hell happened in that SWAT raid that led to 3 people being detained and 0 answers? I mean, were these people connected? Were they random? Were they squatters? Were they...
We don't know. And the police...
We don't know. That's my point. We don't know shit. 15 days, and the public information amounts to, oh, she's missing. There's a blurry photo of a guy with a mask and a Walmart backpack. We raided a place and found 3 people who were apparently not the right people. Good luck, everybody.
I hear your frustration, and I share it. But I also want to say this. It is an active investigation, and I've seen things like this before in my work across multiple sectors. There's almost always more happening behind the scenes than what's being released to the public. For example, they may actually know what this guy looks like or who he is, but if they say it out loud in the news, they'll spook him and he might kill the lady, right? So they got to be really, really careful about what they release, how they release, and when it's released. These 3 people who got detained, there's a possibility some jerk on Xbox just called the police and said, hey, I think I saw the guy or whatever, and they swatted these people and they were completely innocent. So maybe those 3 guys that they detained were just, there for just bad luck. And there's almost more happening, like I said, behind the scenes. Law enforcement withholds information for a reason, right? They don't want to tip off the suspect. They don't want to compromise any leads. So while the public picture looks thin, they might know more than you think.
It might not be the whole picture.
Right, exactly, right. It might not be the whole picture. I'm hoping it's not the whole picture, because if it is,
and then we're fucked.
They're so fucked. Then we have a problem, right?
Yeah. The ransom demands, let's talk about the ransom demands, because this is where it gets really weird.
Yeah, right. So, and I need to be very clear about this again, multiple ransom notes have surfaced, and authorities have described them as unverified, right? So the word unverified is doing a lot of work. It means they haven't confirmed that these notes came from the actual abductor.
Which opens up a whole Pandora box of fuckery.
Right, it does. Because here's the thing, and this is something most people don't think about. When a high-profile kidnapping makes the news, opportunists and scam artists come out of the woodwork. Scammers, attention seekers, people who see a family in crisis and think, how can I exploit this,
Yeah, parasites. The word you're looking for is parasites.
Right, cocklickers. I wasn't going to be that generous, but sure, yeah, why not?
The godfather of being restrained. Write that down. Historic moment.
Well, so the ransom demands, at least one, which reportedly included a Bitcoin demand, were sent to media outlets, right? Not to the family directly, not to law enforcement, but to the media. right?
And that, Godfather, that right there is the detail that made me sit up straight, because who sends a ransom demand to a news organization? I mean, think about it. If you kidnap someone for money, you collect the family, you say, I have your mother, pay me or else. That's kidnapping 101. That's the template.
Yeah, that's the playbook for sure.
But sending it to media outlets, that's not about the money, or it's not just about the money. It's about the whole getting attention. That's about being seen. That's about knowing that the victim's daughter works in the media and, I don't know, wanting to play on that stage.
Or, and this is another theory, it could indicate that the person who sent the ransom demand to the media isn't the kidnapper at all. It could be exactly what we were just talking about. An opportunist who saw the story, generated a fake ransom note, sent it to the news outlets hoping they would pay up in the chaos, right?
Which is, are you fucking kidding me? Somehow even worse, because now the FBI has to waste time and resources chasing down a fake ransom note from some scumbag scammer, while an actual 84-year-old woman is out there dying.
Yeah, that's the reality of a high-profile case. The signal-to-noise ratio is extremely brutal.
Noise-to-signal ratio. Again, with the MIT.
Well, I can't turn it off, sweetheart.
Don't ever turn it off. It's the only thing keeping me grounded right now. Because emotionally, I'm on the ceiling. I'm on the fucking ceiling.
I know, and it's okay. Because here's what I want listeners to understand about the Bitcoin demand specifically. Bitcoin it's become the currency of choice for ransomware attacks, for extortion, for this kind of thing, because it's perceived as anonymous. Here's the thing. It's not, actually. Blockchain analysis can trace transactions. Law enforcement has gotten very good at it. But the perception is there. And it tells us that whoever sent that demand has at least a surface level understanding of cryptocurrency.
Which again, surface level. Walmart backpack, surface level, crypto knowledge. This is not a professional operation. This is someone who watched way too many true crime documentaries and thought, I could do that. Let me try that.
That is the emerging profile, a whack job, yeah. And it's
terrifying.
Terrifying, right? Because amateurs are desperate. Amateurs don't have exit strategies. Amateurs are the ones who hurt people because they paint themselves into a corner.
And they've had Nancy Guthrie for 15 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her pacemaker. Godfather. She has a pacemaker. I keep coming back to this. A pacemaker isn't optional. It's not like, she has bad knees. A pacemaker regulates your heartbeat. Your heart. Except the organism in your chest that keeps you alive. If something goes wrong with it, if the battery runs low, which it died, obviously. If she falls, gets jarred, she could go into cardiac arrest. How is anybody supposed to know? She's not near a defibrillator. She's wherever the hell this person is keeping her.
And the daily medication, you don't know what it's for, blood thinners, Coumadin, blood pressure, cardiac meds, whatever it may be. But at 84, daily medication isn't a luxury. It's a wall between okay and emergency.
And 15 days without that wall.
15.
I want to talk about something that no one wants to say out loud, but I'm going to say it because so fuck it. That's why this podcast exists. We're running out of time, and I don't want to be the person who says this, but statistically, the chances of recovering a kidnapping victim alive decrease dramatically after the first 48 to 72 hours. We're well past that window, folks.
We are. Look, I'm not going to pretend that the statistics are on our side. They're not. But statistics aren't fake. People have been recovered after months. J.C. Dugard was held for 18 years. Elizabeth Smart was found after 9 months. Well documented, cases. So while the odds, narrow, they don't close. And until they close,
we don't give up.
Right. We don't give up, period.
I need to talk about the vultures for a second.
The vultures?
The people sending fake ransom notes, these scammers, these parasites who see an 84-year-old woman go missing and think, ooh, opportunity.
Yeah, these snakes, yeah, those people.
Yes, those people. Because I want to be very clear, if you are a person who sent a fake ransom note to capitalize on this family's nightmare, if you're sitting somewhere right now thinking that you're clever because you demanded Bitcoin from a news outlet, you want to know something?
Go ahead.
You are the lowest form of human garbage. You are the scum that scum scrapes off its shoes. And you are taking an 84-year-old woman's abduction, a grandmother with a pacemaker, somebody's mother, and you are using it to make a buck. And I hope that the FBI traces every single one of those fake notes back to you and charges you with everything they can find, and including wasting their goddamn time while this woman is dying.
You just called all these people worse than a University of Alabama football fan or a lawyer from Allegheny County. And
What?
just to add to that, from a legal perspective, filing a false ransom demand in a federal kidnapping case, that's not a misdemeanor. That's a federal crime: obstruction of justice, fraud, wire fraud. If it was sent electronically, these idiots may have thought they were being clever, but they put themselves on the FBI's radar. And if you're like that kind of a fraudulent person, like, maybe a state's attorney from Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, and the FBI doesn't forget.
Good, and I hope that they choke on their Bitcoin wallets.
Yeah, that'd be great. Choke them with the strap of the purses too. Tell you what, this case reminds me of something I saw years ago. Different circumstances, but the same pattern. When I was working in, we'll say, the defense sector, there was a situation, I can't get too specific, but where a threat was made against a high-value target's family member. And the minute it hit the news, the phones lit the fuck up. Fake threats, copycat demands, people trying to insert themselves into the narrative. Every single one of those had to be investigated. Every single one pulled resources away from the real threat, right?
So the noise actively makes it harder to find the signal.
Right, exponentially. And that's, I've seen this playbook before, kiddo. The media attention is a double-edged sword. It gets more eyes looking, but it also opens the floodgates to every crank, every scammer, every whack job, every person who wants their moment of 15 minutes in the, dark spotlight, right?
Dark spotlight. That's actually a really good phrase. I'm stealing that.
It's yours.
You know what, though? Can I say something that's been bothering me?
Sure, please, always.
The media coverage, the way the story is being covered, and I recognize the irony of me saying this on a podcast, the framing is very much Savannah Guthrie's mother is missing, and I get it. That's the hook. That's what makes it national news instead of local news. But it also means that every story, every headline, and every segment starts with Savannah, not Nancy, Savannah. And I keep thinking, would this get the same coverage if Nancy Guthrie's daughter worked at, let's say, Walgreens?
But the honest answer, no, it wouldn't.
And an 84-year-old woman is kidnapped from her home in Arizona, blood on the floor, camera disconnected. If she's not connected to someone famous, that's a local news story. Maybe a brief mention on cable news crawl, maybe.
See, this is what they don't want you to understand. The system, law enforcement, media, public attention, it doesn't scale equally. Your case gets the resources that match your profile, not your need. That's so fucked, yeah.
So on one hand, I'm grateful that Savannah Guthrie's connection means the FBI is fully engaged. That means more resources, more agents, more technology being deployed. Good, great, do it. Find Nancy.
Right.
But on the other hand, how many 84-year-olds go missing every year who don't have a famous kid? How many of them get a SWAT team 13 days later? How many of them get FBI surveillance footage released nationally?
Yeah, I mean, hell, most of them don't even get a fingerprints done. Not many, no.
Yeah, not many. And that pisses me off. Almost as much as the kidnapping itself.
All right, let's get into theories, because I know that's where your head is going.
Oh, it's been there for days. So here's the question that I think everyone is asking, even if they're uncomfortable saying it out loud. Was Nancy Guthrie targeted because she's Savannah Guthrie's mother?
Well, let's walk through that logically, because there are essentially three scenarios, and they have very different implications. Okay, scenario one. This is random. Nancy Guthrie was targeted because she was an elderly woman living alone in a nice neighborhood. The abductors saw an easy target. Older, vulnerable, presumably with resources, and they acted. The Savannah connection is coincidental.
Do you buy that?
I'll tell you what. Let me lay out all three, and then I'll tell you what I think.
Fine.
All right. Well, scenario two. This is a target attack because of Savannah's connection. The abductor knew who Nancy's daughter was, knew that the family had financial resources, knew that media pressure would give them leverage. The Savannah connection isn't incidental, it's the motive. right?
That's the one that keeps me up at night.
Well, now scenario 3, this is personal. Someone in Nancy Guthrie's orbit, not connected to Savannah's celebrity, had a grudge, a financial dispute, some kind of existing relationship that went wrong. The abduction is about Nancy, not about the daughter.
And which one do you think it is?
Here's what I think. And again, theory, not fact. The disconnected camera suggests familiarity with the home. The mask and planning suggest premeditation. The Ozark Trail backpack and the ransom to media outlets move suggests someone who's not a professional. Let's put that together. And I lean toward a combination of scenarios, 2 and 3, right? Someone who knew enough about Nancy and her living situation to plan this, but who also understood that Savannah's connection was enough. You understood the Savannah connection well enough to exploit it for media leverage.
So someone in her world or adjacent in her world to her world.
That's my theory, and I want to stress: I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I'm not naming anyone into anything or implicating anybody. I'm reading the evidence pattern and drawing a logical inference that someone with proximity or knowledge executed this. And maybe it wasn't a financial thing that Nancy had. Maybe it was one that somebody else in her family had, and they're leveraging their mom or whatever to get what they want. That's all.
Well, and the detaining of 3 people during the SWAT raid kind of supports that, right? They had enough intelligence to point at specific people.
It does, but at the same time, and forgive me, but I've met many law enforcement officers in this country, and not all of them are that bright. They could have easily been duped by somebody calling it a false flag attack or whatever, just swatting somebody. And the fact that those 3 people weren't arrested could mean a lot of things. Maybe they were genuinely uninvolved. Like, they were innocent people, because the police get things wrong all the time. I've seen plenty of innocent people have exculpatory evidence withheld and sent to jail because of attorneys like the ones they have in Allegheny County, Pennsylvania. Maybe the evidence wasn't strong enough yet. Maybe one or more of them are still under investigation but have been publicly named.
God, I hate that word, yet.
Sometimes yet is the most important word in a case because it means the door isn't closed.
Can we talk about elder vulnerability for a minute? Because I think this case is highlighting something that America really doesn't want to deal with.
Let's do it.
Americans over the age of 65, and a huge percentage of them live alone. They're isolated. They're physically vulnerable, and they're targets for financial scams, for home invasions, for exploitation by caregivers, and yes, for things like this.
And the infrastructure to protect them is mostly inadequate. I run nonprofits. I've worked with vulnerable populations, animals. The systems that exist for elder protection are severely underfunded, understaffed, and largely reactive. They respond after something happens. There is very little proactive protection for elderly people living independently.
We spend more money marketing Ring doorbells to old people than we actually spend protecting them.
Well, that's the bumper sticker,
I'll put it on a mug and sell it.
And you're right. The Catalina foothills where Nancy lived is an affluent area, which means she probably had more resources than most elderly people. She had the camera. She probably had neighbors. She had a family that cared. And still, someone walked in and took her.
Imagine if she lived in a less affluent area with no camera at all.
Well, then she would be just a statistic. No name in the news, no FBI press conference, just another missing elderly person in a database.
God bless America.
But I want to come back to something we've talked about. We talked about what we know and we don't know, and what we theorize. But what I want to focus on what we need.
Well, what do we need?
Well, we need someone to come forward. That's it. That's the whole ballgame right now. The FBI has a partial description. They have some intelligence, but what they need is a human being with a heart who knows something, saw something, heard something. A coworker who noticed someone acting strange in late January. A neighbor who saw an unfamiliar vehicle. Someone who recognizes that silhouette in the surveillance footage. All it takes is one good person.
One person, one phone call.
One phone call. Evil persists because of the indifference of good men. And Nancy Guthrie comes home. That's what I believe, because I've seen it happen, right? I've seen cases that were dead in the water, no leads, no evidence, nothing. And then one person picks up a phone and everything breaks open.
And I want to add something. If you're listening to this or watching this and you know something and you're scared, I get it. I do. Maybe you know the person who did this and, maybe you're connected to them somehow. And you're afraid of what happens if you do talk. What are they going to do to you? But I need you to understand something. An 84-year-old woman with a pacemaker has been missing for over 2 weeks. She could be dying. She might already be, no, she needs you. She needs you to be brave for 5 minutes. 5 minutes on the phone. An anonymous tip. That's all. 5 minutes of your courage could save her life.
That's right.
Do the right thing. We're going to close a little differently today because this isn't a cold case. This isn't history. This is happening right now.
Nancy Guthrie is 84 years old. She has a pacemaker. She takes medication every single day. She's taken for her home in the Catalina foothills of Pima County, Arizona, January 31st, 2026. She's been missing for more than 15 days.
The FBI is looking for a male suspect, approximately 5'9" to 5'10", who was captured on surveillance wearing a mask and carrying an Ozark Trail hiker backpack. If you recognize anything, the build, the walk, the backpack, someone who was acting strangely in the area of that time, you need to call.
So the FBI tip line is 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's 1-800-225-5324. You can also submit tips online at tips.fbi.gov. Tips can be anonymous. You do not have to give your name. You just have to give what you know.
If you know something, please come forward. You just have to give what you know. This is not content. This is someone's mother, someone's grandmother. She's real. She's alive. I have to believe she's alive. And she needs you.
Could be your mom. Could be my mom. And the person who took her, you might be listening. Because people like you can't resist the attention. Hear me. The FBI has your silhouette. They have your backpack brand. They have whatever they found in that SWAT raid, and they haven't told us about yet. They were going to check the Walmart surveillance cameras. They're going to find you eventually. The circle is closing, and when it closes, it will close in on you. You're going to wish you had brought Nancy home while you still had a chance. So do that for everybody's sake.
What he said, yeah. All right, for everyone else, take care of your elderly neighbors. Check on them, not with a fucking app, in person. Knock on the door, bring cookies, ask if they need anything. Because the truth that this case exposes is that we've outsourced care to technology. And that's sad and sickening, honestly. We called it progress. That's not progress.
It's not, I'm really grateful that I come from the culture of the background I come from, because in our family we take care of her. My mom stays with me. I have 15 guns. You want to try this with her? Good luck, motherfucker. I'll come get you. We protect our people, right? We should do more to help everybody in society protect each other. Not cameras, not apps, people. Helping people.
All right,
I'm the Godfather.
This has been Sophuckit, the podcast that cares too much and filters too little. We'll see you guys next time.
If you found this episode valuable, share it. Not for us, but for Nancy. Bring her home,
Bring her home.
Thanks, guys.